The Fighting Irish return home to face Central Michigan. Turn to the 16 sports team for complete pregame coverage. Watch Countdown to Kickoff tonight at 7 on Channel 16.
Into every life, a little rain must fall. And last Saturday for Notre Dame, it came in torrents.
There's a lot of different elements today that really occurred with the rain to start the game, then the 2-hour delay, then we go back out there, still raining. And
but even after the delay, the Irish made sure lightning strikes continued all over Carter Finley Stadium. As Notre Dame shook down the Thunder in Raleigh and tamed the Wolfpack.
This game kind of gave us a test. We faced a lot of adversity, but we just had to respond, and this team showed that we were able to respond well in times under pressure.
Now back home again in Indiana and outlined against a blue-gray September sky, Irish eyes are smiling. And while many feel Notre Dame's future is so bright they have to wear shades, the team must repeat a familiar mantra.
Coach Freeman always praises one play, one life.
One game, one life.
Taking each play, playing it, and then going to the next one.
Before a top 10 showdown looms next week, Central Michigan comes to the stadium, and most expect the day for the visitors from Mount Pleasant to be anything but that.
for us to overlook any opponent would be just crazy, right?
So will it truly be clear sailing for the Irish this week, or is a surprise storm brewing? This week, you don't need the Weather Channel. You do need Peacock. As we get you ready for Central Michigan and number 9 Notre Dame. Like the autumn breeze, countdown to kickoff starts now.
Live from the WNDU studios, this is 16 News Now's Countdown to Kickoff.
After a week where the Wolfpack tried to rain on the Irish parade in Raleigh, the Irish are back home, and there's no place like home when home is the house that Rockne built. Thanks for tuning in to Countdown to Kickoff. I'm Terry McFadden, joined by my good friend, WHME Sports Director Chuck Freeby.
Mac, pardon the math, but it was a tale of not 2 but 3 halves for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in their first road test of the season, before the weather delay, after the weather delay, and the second half. Not long into the second quarter in Raleigh, officials convened with the coaches and decided it was unsafe to continue the game. That led to a 1-hour, 45-minute weather and lightning delay, with the Irish leading 3-0. Marcus Freeman explaining what he told his team during the pause of play.
Come out and go and do your job. Like, who cares how the game started? Who cares about the 2-hour delay? Let's go out there and play ball and be aggressive as heck. You have a plan for halftime where it's going to be 20 minutes and different types of food, but we wanted to kind of get them some meat. You know, when it's 2-hour delay, like, those big boys get hungry. But now I think the coaches might have got a little bit more hungry than the players. I saw some coaches having hot dogs.
Well, whatever he said to Audric Estime worked, that or the hot dog he ate during the break. On the first play after the weather delay, Estime burst through the Wolfpack line for an 80-yard touchdown. Then just before the official half, Hartman connects with the freshman phenom, Jaden Greathouse, on a 13-yard strike. Notre Dame takes a 10-point lead at the intermission. Second half, it was the hold and stay show. Hartman finds the tight end for 2 touchdowns, and the Irish run away with this one on the road, winning their 29th consecutive ACC regular season matchup, 45-24. But the question on everyone's minds after the game, how are the hot dogs?
I only had one. I try to keep it easy. I don't want to get a little too bloated. Yeah. Those are very good. Those are very good, tasty hot dog.
Football is just a long game. I mean, it can go either way. So, I mean, we just kind of learned about ourselves that Coach Freeman always praises one play, one life. So just that we can take that step of just going one day, one play, one life, and just kind of just learn from every play. Just keeps going forward.
And before the rain delay, Irish place kicker Spencer Schrader accomplished something never done before in the program's 135-year history. He nailed a 54-yard field goal, the kick beating out the old record of 53 yards. Schrader almost broke his own record in the same game, attempting a 56-yard attempt in the second quarter, but doinked it off the goalpost. It starts with his head coach, who believes in his guy.
I have confidence that Spencer can make a 60-yard field goal because I've seen him do it in practice. But a lot of it comes in the factor of the wind, what type of field conditions, and I'm in communication with Coach Biaggi. Where's the line? It's a constant communication on how we feel Spencer's mindset is, but there's no yard line for me below 60 that I don't feel confident putting Spencer out there.
And speaking of the record book, Sam Hartman continues to leave a historic mark on college football after his 286 yards against the Wolfpack. Hartman's now 12th all-time in passing yards. He trails players like Holton Ahlers of East Carolina, Rakeem Cato of Marshall, Colt Brennan of Hawaii. But it's not just passing yards. Hartman moves to 10th all-time in passing touchdowns with 120 after throwing for 4 against NC State. In that category, he's trailing guys like Aaron Murray of Georgia, Ty Detmer of BYU, and Landry Jones of Oklahoma.
And with Notre Dame's win against NC State, they've made a slight jump in the AP poll. The Irish now sitting at number 9, up 1 spot from 10 last week. Ohio State, USC remain above Notre Dame, but they did swap spots from last week. Now, further down the rankings, Duke, who play the Irish September 30th, are still at 21. The team the Blue Devils beat in week 1, the Clemson Tigers, they dropped out of this week's poll.
And if you're thinking, why are the Irish playing Central Michigan tomorrow? Well, you can thank a man down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for that. His name is Brian Kelly. This game, as well as the Cincinnati game at the stadium 2 years ago, were ways Kelly wanted to give back to former programs he coached for. You may remember this quote from seasons past.
I think I've got games scheduled with Central Michigan as well coming up, and just wanted to give those schools an opportunity if there was an opening on our schedule, and anytime we have those negotiations, I just thought it would be for me an opportunity to give those schools that gave me an opportunity a chance to play Notre Dame.
And while the Chips are not the strongest competition the Irish will face this year, they're not taking this game lightly. Notre Dame is a perfect 9-0 against MAC opponents, but it hasn't been without some scares. The last time Notre Dame played a MAC school on Peacock, the Irish had to battle back against Toledo 2 years ago. Now with a big game looming next week, Freeman made it clear that the only focus for this week is on the Chips.
It doesn't take long to put on a film and understand we got a challenge, right? And as I've always said, we get 12 guaranteed opportunities, so we're down to 9. And for us to overlook any opponent would be just crazy, right? We better look forward to this opportunity we get to play in Notre Dame Stadium versus a good opponent, and look forward to getting back to work.
And while Notre Dame says they're not looking past the Chippewas, the only way you can look at the game on TV this week is on Peacock. So if you don't already have an account, here's how you sign up. You download the Peacock app, or you go to peacocktv.com, sign up for Peacock Premium. I know it's $5.99 a month, but then you're ready to go. Notre Dame football returns to the rightful airwaves of WNDU next week. And while we know who's been the star on offense this season, there have been some key contributors on the other side of the ball as well. And that, my friends, is the topic of this week's Lock Monday Auto Group Irish fan poll on WNDU.com. This week we're asking, who's the MVP of the defense so far this season? Your options: Jack Kaiser, Howard Cross III, Thomas Harper, Cam Hart, or someone else. Stay tuned. We'll have the results for you at the end of the show. Plenty more to get to on this edition of Countdown to Kickoff, including a look at the tight end room.
Yeah, after the departure of Michael Mayer, the group has looked a bit different this season. We've got to look at how that change is working out.
And it's time for our first Chrisman Custom Painting Trivia question of the night. So far, Audric Estime is averaging 115 rushing yards per game. Who holds the Notre Dame single-season record for rushing yards per game? The answer when the countdown returns in a little more than 2 minutes.
Arby's doesn't allow unhappiness from 2 to 5 p.m. The foods are plentiful, the deals start at $1, and the frowns, oh, they better be upside down. Arby's, we have the meats.
I build Notre Dame.
I build Notre Dame.
I build Notre Dame.
We build Notre Dame.
We build Notre Dame. Then and now. Come build Notre Dame with us.
The Zero Down Trade Up sale is on now. Gates buckles down to help you trade up. Credit kinda ugly? Get the car you want, just Zero Down. Trade up. Has your old model got you down? Trade up to this 2019 Equinox from $249 per month with Zero Down. Banks guarantees $10 million for this sale. Trade up to 1.9% financing and no payments till next year. Nothing down. Zero. Zip. Nada. Just trade up. Gates. Close to everywhere.
At Home Outlet, we help bring your ideas to life. Remodeling or building new, we're here to help you. Kitchens, baths, floors, and a whole lot more. Our Home Outlet locations across the country are full of new quality products and at better prices, guaranteed. Come see one of our knowledgeable store partners for help today. Come see us at Home Outlet.
At Inova Federal, we value freedom, the freedom to work and raise your family in a safe and supportive community. At Inova, we also want to help you achieve financial freedom. At Inova, that freedom is always within reach. Locally grown, Inova has deep roots and a history of serving our community for over 80 years. Next level, personalized service by experts you can trust and industry-leading banking technology enable us to find every way possible to save you money. Visit us at innovafederal.org and find out how your financial freedom is always within reach.
Do you feel joy at the sight of Arby's? Or glee when deals start at $1 from 2 to 5 p.m.? Well then, look at all this happiness! Arby's, we have the meats.
Here is your Chrisman Custom Painting trivia answer.
In 1979, Dan Devine's Fighting Irish squad relied heavily on the legs of running back Vegas Ferguson. The pride of Richmond, Indiana, Ferguson carried the ball 301 times that season for a total of 1,437 yards. His average of 130.6 yards per game still stands as the Irish singles season record. They call it tight end university as Notre Dame has consistently produced NFL-ready players at that position.
Yeah, and while this year's group lacks a star like in years past, they're starting to forge their own identity under offensive coordinator Jared Parker.
We bring in the Countdown's Drew Sanders to break down what we've seen from the tight end room through the first 3 games. Drew?
Yeah, Chuck, you guys said it. The Irish are known for producing star-level players at the tight end position. Last year was Michael Mayer leaving a huge pair of cleats to fill after finishing his career as Notre Dame's most statistically accomplished tight end ever. But through 3 weeks, we've got a solid look at his successors in the room, and it looks like the title of tight end university could be safe in South Bend. Let's be clear, it doesn't exactly hurt that the new OC is also the tight ends coach.
You know, there's all eyes on us, and when we go in the meeting rooms, people are asking us questions. Hey, what's practice going to be like? You know, GP's in y'all's room, he's telling y'all the secrets. So we kind of get more eyes on us from the guys in the locker room.
Despite that, in Notre Dame's season opener, 9 different players caught passes. Not a single one of those players is listed as a tight end. That never happened last season. But the very next week, when Sam Hartman led a 2-minute drill to close the first half against Tennessee State, he went to his tight ends 4 times in 6 plays to march down the field for a score.
We just decided we're only throwing the tight end. No, I'm just kidding. That's what it felt like, right? You know, sometimes just, you know, what the defense is going to give you. But, yeah, I mean, they put in a lot of the dirty work, and, you know, you like to see them get, you know, reciprocated for their actions.
That drive was capped by Holden Stay's first ever collegiate touchdown catch, which we now know was a sign of things to come.
This season, Hardman throws it out wide. Here Stays again. He stays in bounds and goes to the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
You know, got his first touchdown 2 weeks ago, and this week's got 2. You know, I said, just keep doubling it up. You know, he's doing a great job.
It's just been a lot of work by Holden to trust the work he's put in the room and put himself in a position to where the ball kind of finds you, you know, and that's what happened for him last game, and certainly happy for him and for our offense for those things to happen.
Obviously, we had a lot of tension on our room last year, just having Mike in the room. So this year, obviously, just taking a lot of pride in not having a drop off, and then Coach Parker being offensive coordinator puts a lot on our plate. But I think that's just good for our room, brings the best out of us, keeps us on our toes, and just allows us to be the best version of ourselves.
Now, so far, Stays and Mitchell Evans have 5 catches apiece. Davis Sherwood got across the goal line against NC State. And this week, Coach Freeman said 6'6" sophomore Eli Raridon is progressing towards a return from a knee injury as well. Guys, this group not missing a beat so far.
All right, and as you mentioned there, Drew, the tight end room could soon get deeper. We'll be monitoring Raridon's recovery from that ACL tear as the year goes on. All right, Drew, thank you very much.
And coming up, we're talking more about what we learned from the rainstorm in Raleigh.
Yeah, after the break, Mike Berardino and Tom Noy from the South Bend Tribune join the countdown to talk about this team's identity and much more when we come back. This is your 2-minute warning.
Hut, hike into your neighborhood Martin supermarkets for the best tailgate tastes in Michiana. Deli fresh subs, Martin's famous fried chicken, veggie trays, wraps, dips, and much more. Also, get delicious bakery items to satisfy your tailgate sweet tooth. Order online at martins-supermarkets.com or stop in your neighborhood Martin's Deli. Everything you need to get game day ready is at your neighborhood Martin's supermarkets.
Great schools are a part of any vibrant community. That's why First State Bank makes a priority of supporting local students with their school spirit debit cards. Hi, this is Adolfo from First State Bank. We've already donated over $350,000 to our local schools, and we're excited for more. Join us in helping fund academics, the arts, and athletics right here in our community. You shop, First State Bank donates. It's that easy with your First State Bank School Spirit debit card. Call, stop by, or visit BeFirst.bank today to get started.
Bruno! Bruno!
Pup on the run? No problem.
With 5 drive modes, road makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get 0% APR financing for 36 months on the Rogue Platinum, or get a low $379 per month lease on Rogue.
I grew up in Gary, worked in the steel mills, on the railroad, and the building trades, alongside other men and women who worked hard every single day. So when I became a lawyer, I made a commitment to build a firm that worked as hard as the people we represent, to win justice for those who've been injured or killed through negligence, to make our roads and work sites safer, preventing needless accidents from happening again. It's hard work, but it's also why year after year we're named among the best lawyers in America.
While we learned a lot about the Irish during their battle against the Wolfpack, one major question remains. What's their identity?
Mike Berardino, Tom Noy discuss in our first NDU Insider segment of the night.
All right, fellas, aside from the hot dog consumption, what impressed you the most about Notre Dame's win at North Carolina State? Mike, let's start with you.
Well, just the fact that they were challenged for the first time by a legitimate opponent, playing well in its home stadium, and responded. I mean, that 3-and-out missed field goal, backed up against your own goal line when it could have been tied. You're sitting there after the Sam Hartman fumble thinking it's going to be interesting, and it wasn't.
Tom?
Stress test for the first time this year. Wasn't stressed the first 2 weeks. Saturday at North Carolina State, the weather, the delay, the team not playing maybe as well as they had hoped out of the gate, the 3-and-outs. It's a 1 point, it's a 1 possession game there in the second half, and Notre Dame just takes its game to another level and really makes it look easy. That was something that we were waiting to see. We saw it on Saturday. Maybe see more of it later on this month.
You mentioned the 3-and-outs. 6 3-and-outs, but 6 touchdowns from the offense. What does that say about Jared Parker as an OC?
He can stay the course. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to get rattled by the play sheet. If a group of plays doesn't work, it's not like he's up there in the box looking like Tommy Rees did on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. He knows what he needs to go to. If this isn't working, let me put Joe Alt next to Blake Fisher and run a play like that and pop Audric Estime for 80 yards. So he has stayed the course. He's solid. He's confident in his calls, and we saw that Saturday.
Mike, your impressions of Parker through 3 games?
Well, you can't complain when they're averaging nearly 50 points a game, right? And they're up there in that stratosphere. But I think the openness to ideas, he's got Joe Rudolph as a former offensive coordinator on that staff. He's sitting there with Chancey Stuckey, Dylan McCullough. This is a group that can share ideas. They know what they're doing, and they seem to be operating on all cylinders.
That said, does this team have an identity yet? And if so, what is it?
Well, it's resilient is what they'd like you to believe, and they've, as Tom said, they've been tested now. We'll see how that carries forward. They're not going to be tested against Central Michigan, at least should not. But there will be further tests down the road. We've heard about the bumpy road, and I think that applies annually.
Your identity for the Irish?
With 3 games in, a veteran team that has played like a veteran team, but the long-term identity, TBD, just like some of the games on the schedule, start times later on this year, that identity will be formed not this weekend, but in the coming weeks. We'll know a heck of a lot more about what Notre Dame is late September, mid-October.
And as part of our partnership with the South Bend Tribune, we're working together on the Pot of Gold podcast, which you can find everywhere you get podcasts and on our YouTube channel at 16 News Now.
After the break, the Irish remain undefeated heading into tomorrow's game at home against MAC foe Central Michigan. What do the fans think of Notre Dame's impressive start to this season? Matt Locke strolls down Eddy Street, coming up next.
Bruno! Pup on the run? No problem. With 5 drive modes, Rogue makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get a low $379 per month lease on Rogue.
Choosing the right windows can be overwhelming. Creating the right look that best fits your lifestyle and character of your home is why homeowners choose Hannaful. For 22 years running, builders have used Andersen windows more than any other brand. If you are looking to update your current home or considering new construction, choose Hannaful for your Andersen windows and doors. Our team will help you create the look and feel you want so you can enjoy life's special moments at home. Visit one of the Hannaful showrooms near you.
It pushes you out of bed, up a mountain, off the high dive. It pulls up your bootstraps, keeps its eye on the prize. It embraces that change will always come, and that the road to success looks different for everyone. It's a doer, a driver, the catalyst of dreams. It's called confidence, and confidence changes everything. Everyone deserves financial confidence. That's why Teachers Credit Union is now Everwise, a new name, the same people powering your dreams.
Will the voice reigning champion
I won this competition last season.
break out his signature move?
Who do you choose? This is so hard!
And there's the Nile Smile. The Voice, September 25th on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
I need your help solving a murder.
Whose murder?
Mine.
People predictably make wrong decisions. Why?
I hear people are irrational.
The Irrational, September 25th on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
Okay, who here has reached peak fall?
Peak what?
Peak fall.
I am wearing plaid. And I'm wearing a cardigan.
I guess I am eating snickerdoodle cookie dough.
And I am eating a pumpkin pie blizzard.
The new DQ Fall Blizzard menu has reached peak fall. Pumpkin pie, snickerdoodle cookie dough, and more. They are back.
I just love fall.
Apparently we all do.
Oh, they did it! Peak fall achieved. DQ, happy tastes good.
Bruno! Pup on the run? No problem. With 5 drive modes, Rogue makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get a low $379 per month lease on Rogue.
The Irish are 3-0 to start the year and look for 4 straight tomorrow back home at Notre Dame Stadium against Jim McElwain's Central Michigan squad.
So how do fans feel about the team after passing their first road test at NC State last week?
16 Sports Director Matt Locke took the pulse of the fans over on Eddy Street.
Another Notre Dame win and another trip to Eddy Street Commons. This time Notre Dame fans getting ready to welcome Central Michigan to town a week before their big primetime matchup against Ohio State. So is there any fear at all that Notre Dame fans could see a little bit of a letdown from their team this week?
No chance. I think we got a stronger team than last year by far. We got a great quarterback. I don't think there should be a letdown this weekend.
Yeah, same thing. No chance at all. I saw Sam this morning. He looked locked in. There's no chance this is going south. We're going to win big.
Where did you see Sam this morning?
I saw him. I was walking out of class. He kind of gave me a look. He must know who I am, too. But I saw him. He was looking good. He cut the beard this morning.
I mean, we got the best team I've seen in years. I have full faith in us to win.
Yes, because Marcus Freeman even mentioned them in his press conference.
He's looking to Ohio State because that's where he played.
And he looked there last year.
Score prediction?
49-10.
I think it's going to be a little bit closer. We're going to kick them. It's going to be 52-13.
I'm going to go with 48-10.
Score prediction?
38-13.
45-17.
I got 58-12.
I hope you're right.
You want to get in there for
42-7?
I said 41-12.
So mixed emotions and mixed confidence levels out here in Eddy Street Commons. Only time will tell. Saturday afternoon, Notre Dame taking on Central Michigan. For now, reporting in South Bend, Matt Locke, 16 Sports.
Hey there, Fighting Irish fans. As you go out for the game today, it's going to be another beautiful one as those Fighting Irish take the field against Central Michigan. The temperatures will be sitting in those low 70s, just about like it has been the past couple of days here in northern Indiana. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful game. Those temperatures will get a little bit warmer into the mid-70s by the time we actually hit that fourth quarter. Clouds expected to increase from partly cloudy, more mostly cloudy. I believe the Kickers will be enjoying that as well. But while we will have the clouds, we won't have to deal with the rain chances. They should hold off until the very, very last bit of our game as we head into the evening and overnight. We could start seeing some sprinkles, but even that, not exactly the best chance. Most of the rain should hold off until our Sunday. So overall, we are looking at a fantastic game, fantastic weather, and of course, hoping to see the Irish improve to 4-0. We're going to have all the details throughout the rest of your day about that weather. And of course, back to your countdown.
And we've reached halftime here on the countdown. Up next, we turn it up a notch for our quick hits ahead of Notre Dame, Central Michigan.
The countdown plows ahead in a little over 2 minutes.
With Chevy Silverado and Silverado HD, you can take on the mountains, or you can move them. With the power of up to 36,000 pounds of max available towing and the confidence of an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen. Whatever your mountain, there's a Silverado for you. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all Silverado 1500 pickups. Plus, get $750 cash allowance on this Silverado. Visit PlatinumChevyDealers.com.
We love binge watching our money with Lake City Bank Digital. It has action.
Oh, looks like we can finally afford those obedience classes.
Romance.
Look, they weren't that expensive.
Suspense.
What is that charge for?
Oh, don't look. You don't want to know.
Oh, yeah, we're hooked.
Watch new episodes of Your Money unfold every day. Now streaming on Lake City Bank Digital.
I build Notre Dame.
I build Notre Dame.
I build Notre Dame.
We build Notre Dame.
We build Notre Dame. Then and now. Come build Notre Dame with us.
Right now, at any Monteith's Best One location, take advantage of their fall service special. It's a Valvoline full synthetic oil change for just $29.95. That's right, just $29.95 plus tax for a Valvoline full synthetic oil change. Up to 5 quarts, some restrictions apply. Offer expires September 29th. Visit MonteithTire.com or stop into any Monteith's Best One location for details. Monteith's Best One Tire and Auto Care. Selling tires, serving people.
Bruno! Bruno! Pup on the run? No problem. With 5 drive modes, road makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get 0% APR financing for 36 months on the Rogue Platinum, or get a low $379 per month lease on Rogue.
Live from the WNDU studios, this is 16 News Now's Countdown to Kickoff.
Let's kick off the second half of our show now with some quick hits. We'll start with getting to know the Central Michigan offense, a team that put up 45 points last week, albeit against New Hampshire. Tristan Matson scored the last 3 for the Chippewas last week on a walk-off 47-yard field goal to beat the FCS Wildcats. But there were other playmakers for the Chips at Mount Pleasant. Miles Bailey ran for 100-plus yards in the score Saturday. Marion Lukes could be dangerous in the return game for CMU. He took an 86-yard kickoff to the house.
Blitz a lot, we know that, so we're going to have to obviously make a stop to that and
we got to, obviously we have our rules, and if we follow our rules, we can protect the quarterback, and we protect the quarterback, the ball's going to move, and we're going to get first downs. First down leads to touchdowns.
The Central Michigan defense has a big challenge ahead of them to try and slow down Sam Hartman and company. Through 3 weeks, Notre Dame is averaging, get this, more than 47 points a game, good for 12th best in the FBS. The Irish have scored 20 touchdowns this season, trailing only Southern Cal, the Trojans scoring 25. Keep in mind that most teams have only played 2 games so far. Meanwhile, the Chippewas have one of the worst defenses in college football through the first few weeks, surrendering over 36 points a game to their opponents. One of Central Michigan's D linemen says they could have played better against FCS school New Hampshire.
We won. It was sweet, but it was very bitter. Defense, we could have held them to way lower points, and they were a great team, but we could have gone in there and played a lot better as a defense. And going from playing a great defense to Michigan State and then, not playing the best defense we could have, it was just kind of like, okay, now let's figure out what we need to do to fix that.
You want to fix that? Don't play Notre Dame. That defense will be tested Saturday by an offense that's scoring at a historic rate. The Irish have scored 143 points in the first 3 games, the most for a Notre Dame football squad through 3 games since 1943. That year, the Irish won the national title, the first of the titles from the Frank Leahy dynasty. The average of 47.7 points per game ranks second only behind the 1912 Irish, who scored 48.6 per contest. Video not available. It's quite the start for new Notre Dame offensive coordinator Jared Parker.
And for our guys to kind of stand in that fire, not flinch, and respond the way we know that they are, great men that they are, it just allows you to keep on building. I told the staff, it's kind of like you're unlocking a new key to your season as little moments like they happen, maybe with 2 minute, and then 2 minute turns into a week 2 and a week 3. Those things happen. Well, the same thing when you face adversity. When you stand in that fire, have success, and learn how to respond, it's not so hard to do so the next time.
The Irish offense has been helped with shorter fields set up by the defense, creating turnovers. Now, after not taking the ball away from the opponent at all in last year's first 3 games, the Irish have 5 interceptions so far this season, and they have come from 5 different players. Secondary is sparkling, but defensive coordinator Al Golden feels there is plenty of room for improvement.
I think we're playing fast right now. I think that's helping. Obviously, we're still disappointed. We're among the leaders in forced fumbles, right? But we haven't recovered any, I don't think. So that's been challenging. So we got to improve there. We have to do a better job batting balls. We need all that to come together here quickly.
It is another first-time foe for the Irish for the second time in 4 weeks. After this week, Notre Dame enters the toughest stretch of its season. Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, and USC have a combined 9-0 record this year. Even when favored by nearly 5 touchdowns, Marcus Freeman knows he cannot let his team sleep on the Chippewas before next week's top 10 showdown.
Every Saturday, we have one goal, and that's try to continue to play at our full potential. And in order to do that, you have to win these moments in the day. And so I remind them, if their mind ever starts to drift or somebody tries to talk about the future, it's just a great reminder for us to refocus and get back in the moment.
Now, Central Michigan faces their second Power 5 opponent of the season. They opened the season in East Lansing, losing to Michigan State 31-7. The Spartans, a school Jim McElwain coached at in the mid-2000s, but a school that Chippewas head coach watched growing up in Montana, Notre Dame.
Grew up in Montana, and every Sunday morning I'd wake up, and at 10 o'clock you had the Notre Dame highlights with Lindsey Nelson. So people in Montana, there's a bunch of Irish fans there, so I always was as well growing up. And I hate to say it, but I might have started singing the fight song with them.
In or out? That's the question we revisit every week on the Countdown. In the Irish Injury Report, the Irish will miss one of their captains on the field tomorrow. Senior linebacker J.D. Bertrand out with a concussion. He suffered a head injury against NC State last week. Another player working way back from concussion senior running back Devin Ford. He's expected to be good to go against the Chippewas. And junior D lineman Gabe Rubio remains out with a knee injury that he suffered in the season opener in Ireland against Navy.
Well, we're headed outside the lines and inside the stadium for the sights and sounds of Notre Dame's video board.
The Countdown's Tricia Sloma goes behind the screen to see how it's done.
It's loud, electrifying, and just downright fun. Since 2017, the stadium's video board has been like a 12th man, energizing the crowd and giving the team that extra spark.
It's amazing. I mean, not only, you know, the size of it, but the clarity, and then, of course, the content.
The house that Rockney built has its own big screen TV.
And just amplify the experience in here, and it helps our football team. It helps all of our student athletes.
Clean execution is one of my top priorities.
Nathan Bush is the lead producer of live events for Fighting Irish Media.
The better the atmosphere, the better they're going to play, and that's kind of my #1 goal.
And they do it by firing up the fans.
From the song selections that we play, the moments on the field, replays, that to me is the top priority.
It's not just exciting in the stands. Here's a look at what goes on inside the control room.
Yeah, ready to take two.
This team is always thinking ahead.
I kind of treat it like a chess match, like I'm thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead.
Like when it's time to remind the crowd to get loud.
We get the fans as loud as possible and making sure that's rowdy as possible on 3rd and 4th down or 1st and 2nd down.
How does it make you feel when the other team has to call a timeout?
It feels pretty good. That's more of the crowd than anything. I'm just here trying to instigate, I guess you could call it.
But the best crowd pleaser of all isn't even about football.
Where you will always be welcomed.
One of the biggest pops you'll get is when Father Pete's on
Sign of peace
for the mass video. The students just go crazy for him.
How big is that big screen? Oh, just over 54 feet high and over 95 feet wide.
All right, Tricia, thank you. And if you want to watch the game on your own big screen at home, well, you'll have to go to Peacock streaming service. If you don't already have an account, here's how you sign up. Download the Peacock app or go to peacocktv.com. Sign up for Peacock Premium. It's $5.99 a month, and you're all ready to go.
Coming up, a Notre Dame icon joins the countdown. Mike Golic Sr. We talk past, present, and future with the former Irish D lineman when we come back. And here's another Crispin Custom Painting Trivia Test. Notre Dame plays a team from the Mid-American Conference this week. Which MAC team has Notre Dame played the most? The answer when the countdown rolls on in 2 minutes.
Arby's doesn't allow unhappiness from 2 to 5 p.m. The foods are plentiful, the deals start at $1, and the frowns, oh, they better be upside down. Arby's, we have the meats. The Zero Down Trade Up sale is on now. Gates buckles down to help you trade up. Credit kinda ugly? Get the car you want, just Zero Down. Trade up. Has your old model got you down? Trade up to this 2019 Equinox from $249 per month with Zero Down. Banks guarantees $10 million for this sale. Trade up to 1.9% financing and no payments till next year. Nothing down. Zero. Zip. Nada. Just trade up. Gates. Close to everywhere.
As the seasons change, so do the selections at Varner's Greenhouse and Nursery. On sale now, all nursery and stock perennials are 25% off. 8-inch mums are now $5.19 and are perfect for fall. Beautiful mum hanging baskets starting at only $11.99. 8-inch flowering kale now only $3.89 each. Holland bulbs are here. After all these years, Varner's Greenhouse and Nursery is still your first choice garden center for all your planting needs.
The days are getting shorter and winter's approaching. Imagine cozying up to a nice fireplace as the snow falls outside. It's about time to make it a reality by having a gas line installed by Ace Plumbing. Some of the many advantages of having a natural gas fireplace include no hauling or chopping wood, no ashes, safer for children and the environment, plus big energy savings. Call Ace today for gas line installations.
Ace Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, it's about time.
Do you feel joy at the sight of Arby's? Or glee when deals start at $1 from 2 to 5 p.m.? Well then, look at all this happiness! Arby's, we have the meats.
Here is your Crispin custom painting trivia answer.
Western Michigan has supplied the most MAC opposition to the Irish, making 3 visits to Notre Dame over the years. The most recent game was played in Brian Kelly's first season, 2010, as the Irish used 3 touchdown passes from Dane Chris to Michael Floyd to down the Broncos 44-20.
One of the most visible Notre Dame football alums for the last quarter century joins the countdown. Mike Golic played for the Irish in the 80s, went on to have a nice NFL career, and is now one of the nation's premier sports broadcasters.
Terry read that just like you wrote it for him.
Well, I tell you, it makes me feel even a little more older than I am.
Hey, let's start by talking about your impressions of this current Notre Dame team.
Well, listen, I think we all got excited when Sam Hartman, signed on here, and I remember my wife and I were in Ireland, and I think one of his first passes was like a swing pass, and the whole Notre Dame faithful cheered like we invented the forward pass. Like, we're happy like we have a guy that can throw the ball, and that's something Notre Dame needed. You felt like you were out of a game if you were a couple of scores down. Now you feel like you're right there. You know you have a good running game. You know you have a solid offensive line, and then we flip to the defensive side of the ball, needing to get those big plays as well. I know we'll get into that, but Hartman brings, in watching him and talking to him, just that air of veteranism, right? I mean, and obviously, he's been around for a long time. So just his calm and his poise in the pocket, seeing reads, I could just, see in his mind what he's seeing, reading the blitz, getting rid of the ball where the hole is in the blitz. I mean, he's just making smart decisions. And one of the best things right now is the 0 next to interceptions, because we know in the big games, that's what's going to cost you the most.
How much credit do you think new OC Jared Parker has with Hartman's success?
Well, I mean, you got to work in unison with the new OC. He's been used to a certain offense at Wake Forest for a number of years, and now he has to change that and get to a new verbiage, which is always like learning a different language. So there has to be that cohesiveness, and obviously it's working. You have Parker has a system that he wants, but you pair it with what your quarterback does best and what they like best, and then you find that happy mesh. It's some things that Parker maybe wanted to do that doesn't, and some things maybe Hartman wanted to do but doesn't. You find that mesh, but it mostly leans to the quarterback and making sure he's comfortable with the plays that you're calling.
As busy as you are with football season, you and your family have always made a point of coming back here and being active in this community. Why?
Well, because Notre Dame to us is family. Between my brothers coming here, all my kids going here, 2 playing football, 1 swimming, my wife going to St. Mary's, her sister going to St. Mary's. So we never put any pressure on the kids, right? We didn't brainwash them at all. I did tell them, go wherever you want, wherever you're comfortable, as long as it's not USC. I said, we just can't do that. But it has always been home to us. It's always family to us. So we have a place right on Notre Dame Ave. The kids like to come back now. Grandkids are in the scene as well. So the golf cart that I had, which is a 4-seater I got back in 2008, is soon going to become a 6-seater since I have to, more seats occupied. But this will always be home to us, always be a gathering point for our family as it continues to grow. That'll never change. We love this place.
Now, Mike, I survived 25 years anchoring with my sister, and it was a wonderful experience. Now you have a show with your son, Mike Golic Jr. How's that going, and where can we find that show?
Well, the expectation with you and your sister is there's friendly barbs, right? Because it's a brother-sister thing. Father and son, I expected Mike to kind of bend the knee a little bit. Oh, Father, you've been doing this forever. What words of wisdoms can you give me? What do I need to heed? What to make me? None of that. Just rips my opinion right away and just doing his thing. But he's fantastic. There is absolutely nothing, as you found out, nothing like working with family. And we both are with DraftKings now. DraftKings is breaking out into a sports network as well, not just gambling. So we're on Samsung TV Plus and DraftKings YouTube channel, DraftKingsNetwork.com, and it's going to just keep growing. It's a different world out there. Remember radio, guys?
Yeah.
Radio? I talk into a microphone and I have no idea idea where it's getting distributed anymore, but it doesn't change the fact I just talk into the microphone. But doing a show with my son, doing a show with anybody, one of my kids is the greatest joy I've had.
Broadcaster and bocce ball partner Mike Golic. Countdown continues after this.
Auto Park Ford continues to make buying simple with one price, one person, 1 hour. Our best price with one personal sales assistant gets you the keys in 1 hour. Experience it for yourself at Auto Park Ford today.
When it comes to insurance, it's important to have a plan that fits you. Get a plan that's too big.
That's not gonna fit.
And you may pay for insurance you don't need.
Fellas.
And a plan that's too small can leave you without adequate protection. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help you design a plan that meets your needs so it's just right for you. Insurance that fits just right so you can kick back and relax.
See Shelter Agent Armando Gomez Mora in Goshen or John Hampton in Plymouth.
When you call Bill's Heating for service, it's a service call, not a sales call. I'm Scott, third generation with Bill's Heating, and when you call us for service, here's a few things you can expect. Our service technicians are not trained to sell, they're trained to diagnose the problem and give our customers the best economical solution. Just because your furnace is, say, 10 years old, that doesn't mean it automatically needs to be replaced. We evaluate the problem and we'll give you the most economical solution. 533-2079.
Hey, look, it's this guy again. That means football season has arrived, and it's time to celebrate good games with great people all season long at Wings Etc. Wings Etc. is the only place to watch the big game on our big screen TVs while you toss back our jumbo wings with an ice-cold, tall domestic schooner. Or if you're in a pinch, call an audible and order our award-winning lineup of food to go. It's game on all season long only at Wings Etc.
The traditional response to neuropathy is we're going to give you some pain medicine because that's all we can do. And so I found that there was this therapy called CET and that they were actually having success in regrowing nerves. The difference with Dr. Carney is he's actually got a solution to the problem rather than just treating the symptoms. I would absolutely recommend to my friends and neighbors that they go to see Dr. Carney. Conventional wisdom is that we simply treat the symptoms, whereas Dr. Carney is giving us a chance to actually regrow nerves and create a cure.
Auto Park Ford continues to make buying simple with one price, one person, 1 hour. Our best price with one personal sales assistant gets you the keys in 1 hour. Experience it for yourself at Auto Park Ford today.
Back inside the countdown, time to reveal how fans voted in this week's Lock Monday Auto Group Irish fan poll at WNDU.com. This week we asked Irish fans who's been the MVP of the defense so far this season, and they have computers in Royal Center, Indiana, where they're voting for Jack Kaiser, 45%, 29% went with somebody else, 11% each for Howard Cross III and Cam Hart. As always, thanks for participating in this week's Lock Monday Auto Group Irish fan poll, and be sure to watch Countdown to Kickoff each week during the season because we have more fan polls like this one. It is a question on a lot of people's minds entering this game against the Chippewas. Are the Irish already preparing for that battle with Ohio State?
Well, that's where we pick up the discussion in our second NDU Insiders Report of the night.
What do you think the biggest thing that needs to be fixed on this team is right now?
First 2 weeks, you're saying nothing. They're perfect. Everything's good. When they go to Raleigh and they commit 10 penalties, that can be kind of a red flag issue for this team because we saw it in training camp and we heard it in training camp. A lot of woofing, a lot of barking, a lot of guys chattering, maybe after the whistle type of stuff. We saw it on Saturday, 10 penalties for 82 yards in your first road game. That's way too many for a team, for a Notre Dame team that's supposed to be a veteran team, a confident team. You've got to cut down on those, especially some of the penalties there were from the main guys. Can't have it on the road.
Twice as many penalties as they've had in any game under the Freeman era. Mike, your thing that needs to be fixed.
Well, I think I'd look at the tackling. Missed tackling for Al Golden's defense. High marks across the board so far, except for that one area. It's kind of a sneaky problem. He's mentioned it 2 weeks in a row. They're 81st in the country in run tackling efficiency, or tackling efficiency overall, according to Pro Football Focus. They watch it far more closely than I do. I'll go by that. 81 doesn't sound too good when there's 135 FBS teams.
From what you're hearing, Are they already working on Ohio State?
Absolutely. When you look at Navy, Tennessee State, Central Michigan, and then you have the road game against North Carolina State, oh, by the way, there's a game there in week 5. Let's start looking toward that. Not like they won't point toward it, but I think maybe a little bit of work, a little period here, a little period there in practice. Let's work on Ohio State so that when Sunday comes or 7 o'clock on Saturday night comes, it's not all of a sudden, here come the Buckeyes. We have them at Notre Dame Stadium in our place this year. They'll be prepared because they have prepared for Ohio State.
Mike brought it up, the focus on Central Michigan. Is there anything to be scared about here?
You know, you listen to Marcus Freeman the other day, and he talks about all the returning guys, the veteran guys they had returning on defense. Central Michigan gave up 538 yards to New Hampshire and needed a field goal at the gun to escape overtime, possible overtime against them. So I'd say absolutely not again.
You think about the Toledo game a couple years ago, and that, but Toledo was picked, I believe, to win the MAC that year. That was a legitimate team with Jason Candle and bowl aspirations, and it delivered and nearly beat the Irish in Notre Dame Stadium. It shouldn't be that way. Central Michigan picked 4th in the MAC by the esteemed writers who follow that league, and so far, looking like the 4-win team it was last year.
By the way, Toledo gave Illinois a game this year, too, but they're not the one coming to the stadium on Saturday. Central Michigan is. Score prediction.
I'll say 48-10. I think they'll get a couple little, maybe this tackling issue raises its head again, and but that's it. 48-10 should be the final.
Tom?
There's a reason this game is on Peacock. And if you can find it on Saturday, you'll see it. It's going to be quick. It's going to be easy. I'll go Notre Dame 55. Maybe Spencer Schrader gets that 56-yard field goal. Notre Dame 55, Central Michigan 6. By 6:30 Saturday night, it's all attention on Ohio State.
And as part of our partnership with the South Bend Tribune, we're working together on the Pod of Gold podcast. You can find it everywhere you get podcasts and on our YouTube channel at 16 News Now.
Well, we're running out of time on the countdown, which can only mean one thing. It's time for our keys to the game. What the Irish need to do this week to move to 4-0 on the season tomorrow afternoon against the Chippewas, and our score predictions when the countdown returns.
Okay, who here has reached peak fall?
Peak what?
Peak fall.
I am wearing plaid.
And I'm wearing a cardigan.
I guess I am eating snickerdoodle cookie dough.
And I am eating a pumpkin pie blizzard.
The new DQ Fall Blizzard menu has reached peak fall. Pumpkin pie, snickerdoodle cookie dough, and more. They are back.
I just love fall. Apparently we all do.
Oh, they did it. Peak fall achieved. DQ, happy tastes good.
Service is important to us because, as you said, we started there and we were in service first, and then we were able to go into sales. Anybody can sell, not everybody can service. It's a good feeling to know that we're still doing what we started doing, only we're doing it better and sometimes a lot faster even. And this is how we got to 50 years.
We got it, Bob Miller's.
2700 South Main, South Bend.
Right now, at any Monteith's Best One location, take advantage of their fall service special. It's a Valvoline full synthetic oil change for just $29.95. That's right, just $29.95 plus tax for a Valvoline full synthetic oil change. Up to 5 quarts, some restrictions apply. Offer expires September 29th. Visit MonteithTire.com or stop into any Monteith's Best One location for details. Monteith's Best One Tire and Auto Care. Selling tires, serving people.
Welcome to J&B Home Decor and Gifts. We have it all: home decor, furniture, art, gourmet treats, and the most perfect gift items. Come see us today here at J&B Home Decor and Gifts in Elkhart.
Here's what's on tonight starting at 8 on Channel 16. Then stay tuned for 16 News Now. Tonight's primetime lineup is sponsored by your Platinum Chevy dealers. Save big on the 2023 Chevy Silverado. Visit PlatinumChevyDealers.com. It's time for our keys to the game, brought to you by Dairy Queen. Happy tastes good.
Mac, let's just put this segment on a stick like it's a big old dilly bar.
It's scrumptious, as you know. Matlock, we start with you. Who is your X factor for the Fighting Irish?
All right, first off, let me be clear. I do not think Notre Dame is going to lose this game, but I am a little bit worried that we're going to see a down performance, especially from the offense, and that is where an experienced guy like Chris Tyree comes in handy, whatever position you want to put him in. Now, right now, he's been a wide receiver, and that receiving core is very talented and also very young. And on a day where the Chippewa defense may not be blinded by those shiny gold helmets, that young core may get rattled. Tyree can lead by example to keep guys level-headed and maybe even help Sam Hartman with a little dump option for a few yards here and there.
Matt, I like where your head is at as far as veteran leadership. I'll go to the other side of the ball with the team's lead tackler, Jack Kaiser. He and fellow six-year Maris Leofau will need to help bridge the gap this week until J.D. Bertrand can return from concussion protocol. So young guys will see time. Guys like Drake Bowen, Jalen Sneed. They're very talented, but the vets need to make sure that those young guys are in the right spots, making the right reads, so that the defense doesn't miss a beat without Bertrand.
All right, Drew, appreciate it. And now let's go to Chuck, your factor, X factor.
Well, the receiving core has been okay, but they need to continue to improve, and that starts with the leader. Jaden Thomas has done a great job of run blocking, but the reason you're not seeing any of his catches from last week, he didn't have any. The Irish need this big fella to step up and get going, become a go-to receiver, because after today, the competition gets a lot tougher. Thomas looked like the man coming through fall camp. It's time for him to regain that look and likely a little bit of confidence today.
Okay, now we want to go to our keys for the big win here. Matt, what will it take for the Irish to come out on top?
Well, they've got to make sure they finish this game out first until the clock hits 0 before you look ahead to Ohio State. There is no doubt about it. The Chippewas are coming in here with an upset on their mind. Do not take a 28-point lead into the halftime and fall into the trap that some fans may make with this game being on Peacock and it being Central Michigan. Because you're going to have to stay ready. Play all 4 quarters, or you may find yourself with some change for a loss.
I see what you did there. Matt, my key is going to be overall offensive balance for the Irish. We mentioned earlier in the show that quarterback Sam Hartman has been great at getting everyone involved on this offense so far. That's a trend that I think we'll see continue this week. He and his pass catchers have been building a great rapport since the spring, but game reps are just so much more valuable. And with Ohio State looming, as you mentioned, all of the Irish skill guys need to be ready if their name is called. They'll work on that this week.
The late, great James Brown had a song called Get on the Good Foot, and the Irish need to get to stepping like the godfather of soul on Saturday. There is no need to allow this to be close. The game is on Peacock, for crying out loud. Just get it done and over with. As James said, going down to the crib, let all hang out. Got to do it on the good foot. On the good foot, Mac, on the good foot.
You're close to the godfather. You're close.
I need a cape.
Yeah, and a little more hair.
Yeah, no question.
All right, let's turn to some score predictions, shall we? Now she's not here with us right now. Our Tricia Sloma did leave us a prediction ahead of this game on Saturday. Tricia?
Boy, it's good to have the Irish back home where the weather is perfect, well, close to it. What's my prediction? There will be no big storms to slow down the runaway train and the Sam Hartman show. Notre Dame will win big, 56-3.
All right, Drew Sanders, your prediction, sir?
I like where Tricia's coming from on this one. Lock me in for a big Irish win, 42-13. It's the final tune-up before a huge test at Ohio State or against Ohio State. Indy's going to want to make sure they're operating at peak efficiency going in.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think Notre Dame is going to lose, but I did think it was going to be a little bit scary, and I guess compared to what everybody else's blowouts predictions are, mine's a little bit closer, 35-10 Notre Dame.
All right, guys, and Matlock, I just want to say, I think it'll be 35-10 at halftime. That's me.
I hope.
Oh, let's hope so. All right, I'm going to go with the Irish, 51-13, eclipsing their average of 47 points a game.
And I'll go Notre Dame big, 52-7. We'll definitely see where the chips fall today. That will do it for this edition of Countdown. Now we wait for the official kickoff tomorrow afternoon on Peacock at 2:30 when the 9th-ranked Chippewas and Irish square off for the first time at the stadium. For Matt, Drew, Tricia, Terry, and our entire crew, Chuck Freeby, we'll see you next week for Ohio State.